The reason for the death of Hazrat Fatima is one of the most challenging topics in the Islamic world, and one of the points of conflict between Shiite and Sunnite. It is not even timpani to say that this issue is one of the events that have caused hatred and enmity between Shiite and Sunnite groups over the centuries. In this video, in addition to expressing various Shiite and Sunnite theories and traditions about the death of Hazrat Fatima, we also report on the burial place of this noble lady. It is up to the viewer to deduction from this video. Please stay with us until the end of the video. Hello there, lovely friends. I hope you're doing well. Please subscribe to our channel before watching this video, and click the bell button to be notified of new videos. Please like and share this video to show your support. According to the common view of the Shiites, Fatima was born in the 5th year of the prophethood known as Sunnah Ahakafiyah, the year of the revelation of Al-Ahqaf Surah. Sheikh Mufid and Kafami considered the 2nd year of the prophethood as the time of the birth of Fatima. According to the common opinion of the Sunnites, the birth of Fatima was 5 years before the prophetic mission. In Shiite sources, the date of birth of Fatima is mentioned as 20 Jamadi al-Thani. There are few historical reports about the life of Fatima in her childhood and adolescence. According to historical reports, after the transpire of the Prophet's invitation, Fatima witnessed the violence of polytheists against her father in some cases. In addition, 3 years of Fatima's childhood passed in the Sababi Talib Valley under the economic and social pressures of polytheists against Bani Hashim and the followers of the Prophet of Islam. Fatima also lost her mother, Khadija, and her father's uncle and important supporter, Abu Talib. As a child, the Quraysh's decision to kill the Prophet, and the Prophet's night aggression from Mecca, and emigration to Medina, and Fatima's emigration to Medina along with Imam Ali and some women, were the most important events of Fatima's childhood. Shiite believes that Fatima had many proposers, but ultimately she married Imam Ali. According to some researchers, following the migration of the Prophet to Medina and the leadership of the Islamic community, Fatima was respected among Muslims due to her filial relationship with the Prophet, and was given a grand situation. A number of elders of Quraysh, who had converted to Islam earlier than others, or had adequate financial power, proposed to Fatima. Abu Bakr, Omar and Abdul-Rahman bin Auf were among these people. All proposers heard rejection from the Prophet. In response to their request, the Prophet said, "Fatima's marriage is a heavenly matter, and requires divine command." And in some cases, he expressed Fatima's displeasure with marrying proposers. Imam Ali was very interested in marrying Fatima, because of his family relationship with the Prophet, and Fatima's ethical and religious characteristics. But according to historians, he did not allow himself to propose to the Prophet's daughter. Sa'd bin Mu'az transmitted this matter to the Prophet, and the Prophet agreed to Imam Ali's proposal. The Prophet explained Imam Ali's request, and his behavioral characteristics and virtues to Fatima, which brought Fatima's satisfaction. The Prophet married Fatima to Imam Ali by divine order. Imam Ali, like the other emigrants, had a difficult economic situation in the first months of emigration. Therefore, on the recommendation of the Prophet, he sealed his armor by selling or pledging to Fatima. The wedding ceremony of Imam Ali and Fatima was held in the mosque in the presence of Muslims. There is a dissension about the date of the marriage ceremony. In most sources, the 2nd year of Hijri is mentioned. The wedding ceremony was held after the Battle of Badr, in Shawwal or Dhul-Hijjah of the 2nd year of Hijri. Sunnites believe that the story of the marriage was that Abu Bakr and Umar came to Ali, and suggested his marriage to Fatima. Ali agreed to go to the Prophet of God, and make this proposal there, and Uthman provided the marriage expenses. And this marriage was formed. In the historical and narrative reports, it is stated that Hazrat Fatima loved Imam Ali, in different ways and even in the presence of the Prophet, and called him the best husband. Respect for Ali is also introduced as one of Fatima's traits. It has been reported that Fatima used to call Ali with loving words at home, and with the nickname Aba al-Husan in public. It is reported that Fatima adorns herself with perfume and ornaments at home. The first period of Fatima and Ali's life was attended to difficult economic conditions, to the extent that sometimes they could not find food to feed their children. But Fatima did not fuss to the situation, and sometimes used to spin wool to help her husband. Based on the Prophet's advice, Fatima wanted to do the work inside the house herself, and leave the outside work to Ali. Even when the Prophet sent a servant named Faiza to her house, she did half of the housework herself, and left the other half to Faiza. According to some reports, one day Faiza worked in the home on Fatima's advice, and the next day Fatima took care of the house herself. The years of the Prophet's presence in Mecca were full of harassments and insults, and continuous efforts of the enemies to exterminate Islam and Muslims. Sometimes the obdurate enemies would sprinkle dust or ashes on the Prophet. When the Prophet came home, Fatima would wipe the dust and ashes from her father's face, while tears were in her eyes. The Prophet used to say, "My daughter, don't be sad and don't cry, because God is your father's guardian." Because of Hazrat Fatima's kindness, Hazrat Muhammad nicknamed her Abiya, meaning her father's mother. Shiite and Sunnite sources are of the same opinion, that Hussein, Zainab and Kulthum are the four children of Fatima and Ali. In the Shiite sources and some Sunnite sources, another son is mentioned who was aborted due to the damage that was inflicted on Fatima during the events after the Prophet. His name is mentioned as Mohsen or Mahassan. Shiite believes that in the last few months of Fatima's life, unfortunate events happened to her. As mentioned, no one saw Zahra smiling during this period. The Prophet's death, the story of Saqafa, the confiscation of the Caliphate, the confiscation of Fadak and the reading of Fadak's sermon, in the presence of the companions, are the most important events in the end of her life. Her words among the women of Medina who came to visit her house have been reported in historical sources, which include some other positions of the Fatima, and expressing dissatisfaction with the positions of the people after the death of the Prophet. According to the famous view of the Shiites, Fatima was martyred in Medina on 3rd Jamadi al-Thani year 11. Her age is said to be 18 years, but in a narration of Imam Bakr, her age is mentioned as 23 years. There is a difference of opinions about the date of martyrdom, and it is mentioned from 40 nights after the Prophet's death to 8 months after that. The most famous saying among Shiites is 3rd Jamadi al-Thani. It means 95 days after the death of the Prophet. In a narration of Imam Sadiq, the reason for Fatima's martyrdom is stated to Ginfo's sword, which caused Mohsen's miscarriage and illness, and finally her martyrdom. In this regard, the Sunnites have said that after the death of the dear Prophet of Islam, Hazrat Fatima got ill and fell into bed, and finally died on Tuesday, the 27th of Ramadan, 11 Hijri. During the illness of Hazrat Fatima, Asma bint Umays, the wife of Abu Bakr, nursed her, and until the last breaths of Fatima's blessed life, Asma was with her, and participated in washing and dressing her. Shiite believes that before her martyrdom, Hazrat Fatima had made a will that she did not want people who injured her and provided reasons for her anger to pray over her body and attend her funeral. Therefore, she wanted to bury her secretly, and to keep her burial place a secret. According to historians, Imam Ali bathed his wife with the help of Asma bint Umayz, and prayed over her body. Except for Imam Ali, several other people also participated in the prayer, and there is a difference regarding the number and names of people. Historical sources have identified Imam Hussein, Imam Hussein, Abbas bin Abdul Muttalib, Moqdad, Salman, Abu Dar, Omar, Aqil, Zubair, Abdullah bin Masud and Fazl bin Abbas as people who participated in this prayer. According to the Shiite narrations, Imam Ali destroyed the relics of the grave after burial so that the grave could not be identified. In addition to the fact that the exact location of the grave is unknown, there are also various narrations about the place where the grave is located. Most Sunnite scholars believe that Hazrat Fatima died between Maghrib and Isha, and for this reason they buried her at night. At this time, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Zubair and Abdul Rahman bin Auf came to the house of Imam Ali. Some Sunnite scholars say, when they left the body to pray, Ali said, "Abu Bakr, go ahead." Abu Bakr said, "Abul Hussein, go yourself." Ali said, "I swear to God, no one will pray over her except you." So Abu Bakr prayed over her and they buried her at night. In another narration, it is stated that Abu Bakr prayed over her and said 4 takbars. And in the Muslim narration, it is stated that Ali prayed over her, and this is the best version. The Sunnites completely reject the attack on the house of Hazrat Fatima and the burning of the door of the house, which caused her martyrdom and abortion in her fetus, and their reasoning is that, as stated in verse 53 of Surah Al-Ahzab, "You who believe, do not enter the houses of the Prophet unless you are given permission." They state that this verse shows that the rooms of Nabi Akram did not have doors, and instead of a door, they hung a tissue. A house without a door can be entered without permission, and the rooms of the women and Hazrat Fatima, who were inside the mosque, did not have a door, and they used a curtain instead of a door. And they believe that at that time, how is it possible that in an environment where there was no carpenter, and no tree except for palm tree, a door was installed so firmly on a contemptible and poor room that it could only be removed by setting it on fire. Some have considered the burial place of Hazrat Fatima in Rawda al-Nabi. The house of Hazrat Fatima and Imam Ali has been introduced as another place of burial. This place became a part of the mosque with the expansion of Al-Nabi Mosque during the Bani Umayyad period. Some sources have absolutely mentioned Baqi Cemetery as the burial place of Hazrat Fatima. The house of Aqil bin Abi Talib is another place that some sources consider as the burial place of Hazrat Fatima. Aqil's house, a large house, was next to the Baqi Cemetery, and after the burial of the body of Fatima bint Azad, Abbas bin Abdul Muttalib and a number of Shiite imams, it was changed from a residential state to a public shrine. In the narrative, commentary and historical sources of Shiite and Sunnites, many virtues have been reported for Hazrat Fatima. Some of these virtues have a Quranic fountain, such as the verse of Tathir and the verse of Mubala. In such virtues, the revelation of the verses about the al-Bayt of the Prophet, and Fatima is also one of the al-Bayt. Hazrat Fatima, like the Prophet, was very interested in worship and spent an important part of her time in prayer and supplication. Accordingly, some prayers, supplications and glorifications are attributed to her in the books of supplications and prayers. Thank you for watching this video all up to the end. If you enjoyed it, please like it and subscribe to receive notifications of new videos by clicking the subscribe button and the bell next to it.